Alright, so I'm going to be showing how to replace the home button on this iPhone 8. So when you replace the home button, you actually lose the touch ID function. So keep that in mind. But usually if you're replacing your home button, it's because your home button's broken. So anyways, first thing we're going to do is remove the 2 screws from the bottom here. Okay, just like this. I'm going to use a phone stand to make this a little bit easier, or I might, we'll see. Alright, so let's go ahead and remove these 2 screws. Alright, once you remove those 2 screws, oops. Alright, usually there's going to be some adhesive in here, but this was already open, so it won't be that strong. We're going to use this thin pry tool to get between the plastic part of the frame and the aluminum housing. Alright, and we're just going to go underneath, and we're going to slowly work our way over the side. You don't want to use a tool that you slide too far in. We're just barely sliding this in. On the side, there's actually the frame that helps hold it in place. So it's not too, usually you won't end up sliding it too far, but if you go from the bottom, there's a good chance you might accidentally slide the tool too far, so be very careful with that. Alright, once we get the 2 sides out, we're going to slowly pull it up, but be very careful because there are cables in the side here. Alright, so I don't know if you can see that, but there's a cable right there. Right, once you do that, I'm going to slide the tool over the top as well, just to cut the adhesive up there. And then we're going to pull the screen slightly down as we kind of open it like a book, just like this. Alright, next we're going to remove all the screws here so that we can disconnect the battery. Alright, let's zoom in here. Actually, let me make sure the phone is off. Alright, let me hold the power button here. Oops, why isn't it letting me turn it off? So hold the power button, alright, and then we're going to shut off the screen, or shut off the phone. Alright, let's go ahead and switch to a PH0 or JIS0 screwdriver. Alright, so that we can remove the screws inside. Okay, so again, open this like a book, and then we're going to remove the 4 screws holding this in place. Alright, so just like this. If you want to make this a little bit safer to work on, you can use something that will hold this in place. So right now we're kind of just holding this as we work on it. So it's a little bit risky because if you accidentally drop the screen, you can tear these cables. Alright, so let me show you how I can do it an easier way. Let me get these screws out first. Okay, just like that. Alright, once we get those screws out, we're going to lift this metal plate up and out. There we go. And then we're going to disconnect the battery cable here. I just used my fingernail. You can use a plastic pry tool or whatever. Alright, just get under there and flip that up just like that. Alright, we're going to close the screen, and then we're going to press and hold the power button to drain any power that's left in the capacitors. Alright, so I'm going to try and use this phone stand to see if I can make it a little bit easier to work on here. Alright. So now that we've held the power button down, we can slowly, carefully open this up. Alright, I'm going to put the phone in here, and then I'm going to open this. So here you can see it opens only so far, so that way there's a lot less risk that we're going to actually drop the screen and have it flip over. I'm going to get a piece of this painter's tape that releases easily, so it's not going to damage anything. And what we're going to do is we're going to wrap part of it in the screen area here, and then we're going to wrap the other side over. You don't have to use a phone stand. Anything that opens and stays like this about 90 degrees or so will work fine. Alright, so we're going to be working on the home button, so I'm actually going to put some tape over this way as well. Alright, let me get another piece of tape. Okay, so just get another piece of tape here. And we're going to cut the tape off. Okay, same thing. We're just going to get the tape, wrap over a little piece so you have a release tab. Okay, just like that. Now we're going to fold this over and fold that over. Alright, so now you can see we can work on this, no problem. It can flop all over the place and we don't have to worry about it. Alright, so now we're going to remove the home button here. Okay, so we'll do this using a Y000. Let's see here, or what is this? The Tri-Wing Y000 or Tri-Wing 0.6. Okay, again, make sure the thing holds itself together. We're going to keep our finger underneath the home button here, so that way when we apply pressure to it, then it's not going to push the home button down. Right, but anyways, let's go ahead and remove these screws. I'm going to remove these 3 first, so that way we don't have to worry about the home button right away. Okay. And you want to make sure to hold the screen up so it doesn't get damaged. All right, there we go. Now I'm going to put my finger underneath the home button, and then I'm going to use that to undo the last screw. All right, there we go. Now we can remove this metal plate. And then to remove this connector here, you don't want to just yank up on this because the screen has the cable underneath. Let me zoom in and show this a little bit better. Okay, so what I do is I get my fingernail here in between this and the connector below. All right, so while I'm holding this, I'm gonna go ahead and pop this cable up. All right, so just like this. Oops, it's kind of being a pain. There we go. So there we go, we disconnected that cable, and here you can see the connector underneath. All right, so we're gonna have to use a little heat to remove this. So I'm gonna get a little heater, and then I'm also gonna use a needle to do that. So let me get the heater and I'll be back. All right, I'm back, got the heater. So now we're gonna turn this on. What we're gonna do is we're gonna heat the back here so that the little circuit board here will be easier to remove. Let's zoom out a little bit. Sorry, hopefully I was able to record everything. I'm not sure if I was holding it out of frame or not, but anyways, we're gonna wait for this to warm up a bit. All right, so we're just heating up this piece right here to make sure this tape stays on. I mean, this home button is actually broken, so it's not a big deal if I just rip it out, but I want to, just in case, because we never know, sometimes it could be the screen that's the issue and not the home button itself. Okay, so we're just warming this up here. Okay, I'm holding it into this heater. We just want to warm it up so that the adhesive will come loose. Okay, it doesn't need to be crazy hot. Alright, so we're going to move this out of the way. Let's rotate this and see about removing the home button. Alright, so now what I do, it's hard for me to do this while trying to record it. Let me see how I need to position my way in a way that I can see what I'm doing while I'm doing this. Okay, so we're gonna lift this part up, okay, because that's part of the screen, this cable here, and then we're gonna get underneath this board. So it's in a weird position for me, so let's see if I can turn it this way. All right, so we're gonna get underneath the cable here. Let me zoom in a bit more. Oh, that's kind of blurry. I don't know. Hopefully you guys can see what I'm doing. But we're just getting underneath this control board here. Okay. Here, and we're just going to scrape this thing up, getting underneath the adhesive. All right, so there we go. You can see it's lifting this piece up, just like that. And now we can drop the home button through there, okay? Just like this. All right, now we got the old home button. We're gonna go ahead and put in the new one. Here you can see what the home button looks like this. All right, it doesn't look broken, so I'm not sure why it's not working. Maybe they got water in it or something. So the replacement home button is like this. All right, there's no Apple thing on it or anything, but yeah. All right, so let's go ahead and put this in. Let me zoom out a bit. It's gonna be hard to keep this in frame, so I can't really zoom that far in. Okay, so now what we're gonna do, we're gonna slide this new home button into place. All right, so get the home button up through there. Okay. Just like this. All right. I'm gonna hold the home button into place. All right, and then what we're gonna do, we have to make sure to lift this connector underneath. All right, hold that, get that connector back on top. All right, and now we're gonna have to flip this over and get this to latch into place. So there we go. Looks like it's latched on. Okay, now let's go ahead and put back the metal bracket on top. Okay, just get this all lined up. Helps to get the screw on the left first. Let me zoom in a tiny bit more. All right. So we'll get the screw on the left first, and then we'll tighten that down. Then we'll get the other screws over to the right. Skipping the home button, we'll put the home button screw last. I'm just loosely fitting it for now. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and hold on to the screen and tighten those screws in. Just like that. Get the last screw. Okay, again, you want to hold underneath the home button so that when you push down, it doesn't push the home button through the screen. All right, just like that. There we go. Now we can go ahead and remove the adhesive here so that we can close the screen up. Okay, we're going to remove it on both sides, of course. Okay, close the screen up for now. All right, so now what we're going to do, we're going to reconnect the battery and then hope that everything works. So push the battery connector back down. Let's go ahead and power it back up. Okay, Apple logo's back on. Gonna wait for the phone to start up. Hopefully my phone's not gonna overheat. Come on, start up faster. So we're just gonna test the home button functionality. If the home button doesn't work, most likely I have to replace their screen, which is somewhat of a good thing because then their touch button, Touch ID will work again. But this is a much cheaper repair. So let's go ahead and push some numbers and then, nope. So it looks like even with that, the home button doesn't work. So yeah, so I think it's actually their screen that's bad. So anyways, I'm gonna let the customer know, see what they wanna do, and then we'll continue from there. All right, I'll see you guys later. Bye.